just had in course Sikeleli, Africa, and now the Welsh national anthem, Land of My Fathers. They'll sing this with fervour here at the Gnoll in Neath. My Fathers sung with great can certainly sing here in Welsh. Game number 4 against Neath, reckoned to be the All Blacks of Welsh rugby, and it's going to be a tough game for South Africa. Jacques Willefeer on the left wing. There we see the Neath side, the long serving Paul Thorburn at fullback. Bird and Woodland, very promising centres. Thomas and Jones at halfback, then Williams, an international, Davis, an international, Brian Williams on the number 1, also an international. Barry Williams played against the South Africans for Wales A. Gareth Llewellyn, the captain tonight, who is also captain of the Welsh national side. Peter Muller has recovered from flu, and so he will partner Brendan Fenty in the centre. Jacques Willefeer on the left wing with Chris Badenhorst on the right. We see that Gary Teichmann is on the open side flank, and a chance tonight for Peter Durant to continue the amazing form he showed against the Welsh A side, as did James Dalton. Ian Hutton, always very good in the loose. South Africa will be playing from left to right behind a very, very strong wind. It is not raining, but a very strong wind. There you see the referee, Ray Megson from Scotland. And immediately it's Arwell Thomas who makes the fair catch inside his own 22. We will talk to you a little bit later, but great news for us tonight that we have in our commentary box with us the South African captain, Francois Pienaar. And Francois, whilst the guys are warming up, just a few notes. The guys enjoying their tour here in Wales?
Yes, very much so. It's been tough the first couple of games. You know, it's been raining and we've adapted very well to the conditions. The guys are settling in to great team spirit, and they've played very well, especially against Wales A and Gleneagly. So tonight is a sort of a watershed for us. If the guys pull it through tonight, I think the tour is really on a go.
Well, there we have it right from the captain's mouth. Beautiful jump by Visa. Difficult for Kevin Putt. These forwards came through extremely quickly. They certainly have, their pre-plan is that they're going to mix it up front. That went a little bit high from Jones. Now, good counter-attack. That boy has really shown early tour form, tremendous form, Peter Durant. Just 21 years old, and what a future.
Die eerste 20 minute gaan belangrijk vir die Springbokke wees. Ons weet dat die All Blacks, soos hulle self noem, die van Wallis, die Springbokke voorlands wil aanvat. So die Springbokke sal die wind moet gebruik in die eerste 20 minute en so gou as moontlik punte op die tellbord moet kry.
Free kick to South Africa, not in straight at the scrum. Don't often see that these days. Kevin Putt just popping it up there. Visa and Hutton operating in the lock for the first time. Fenter. Quickly up came the Neath defenders. That was Thorburn and also the Jeff Bird, who did tremendous work on defence. And then taken on by Williams. And now a chance here for Wyatt. Chris Wyatt, who just earned a Wales under-21 player last year. So they've got some real youngsters in their side. Lee Davis on the left wing, played for Welsh Schools just 2 months ago. And one of the Neath players down. Can't quite pick up the moment, but that Francois was the Neath players coming up extremely quickly.
Yeah, they came out very well in that ruck, and their forward showed that they want to take the ball to the South Africans, run it up and clean out. And I think he's just injured his nose. It's a lot of blood. He might have injured it in the drive there.
Looks like Jeff Bird to me, Jan. Johnny, I mean, he looks like Jeff Bird.
Center Jeff Bird wat seer gekry het, maar dit het baie belovend gekyk, gelyk aan die kant van Neath, 'n goeie beweging waarmee hulle gevorder het tot binnekant die kwartgebied van die Springbokke. Nou hierdie span van Neath, wat verlede jaar tweede geëindig het in die Walliese Rugby-liga, vanjaar het nie so goed gegaan nie, hulle bekleed tans die 6de plek, maar hulle is vasbeslote om vanaand die Springbokke te klop. Baasvervanger op die veld, en die man op die veld is Andrew Thomas.
So now a chance for Neath to attack just about on the South African 22. Again, the players coming through extremely quickly, but it was a free kick to Neath. Running it up to Williams there to Scott. Again, a good drive by their forwards. South African forwards have to regroup and the counter shove coming from them. See number 2, Barry Williams, a very live wire hooker who played against South Africa for the Welsh A side. He's also just 20 years old. Important scrum for South Africa. That's a good shove by Neath. They've got a very strong front row. Again, the ball going loose. This is Gavin Johnson in a bit of trouble. Neath forwards piling in. And coming back to Kevin Putt. And that's a very useful kick by Kevin Putt. Way down over the Neath halfway line. Back for it is Higgs. And that's a very useful clearance by Kevin Putt. And the South Africans, I think Francois will heave a bit of a sigh of relief there.
Yes, Osteron did very well there when they drove it up. He got his hands on the ball, kept it, and we got the scrum put in. They had a very good scrum. I'm very impressed. They're lightweights. We look much heavier up front, and yet they shoved us there.
James Dalton with the throw. Visa 2, Hutton 4. The side, of course, being led, and Tian Strauss making his first appearance on the tour. Good jump by Visa. Hutton working hard, but the Neath forwards come back at them again. Pat, Stransky. Now the wind will take that away. That's a difficult ball for Thorburn, and beautifully taken by the fullback. South Africa is still well within the Neath 22-meter area, but it was a tremendous catch, John, by Paul Thorburn.
Paul Thorburn, wat reeds 37 toetse vir Wallis gespeel het. Sy rugbyloopbaan begin in 1987. Spog reeds met 2500 punte. Uitstekend wat hy daar doen. Soms sy opsies op en hy red hierso die span van Neath van moeilikheid. Maar die Springbokke, wat in die eerste skrum, was nie baie belovend wat die skrum betref nie. Hulle is teruggestoot na die skrum en dit met 'n bron van kommer tot dusver wees.
Two tall men at the back, Ilandre van der Berg and Gary Teichmann. Up high went Jukas Hutton, Putt cleared nicely. Now a chance for Brendan Venter, Peter Muller coming through strongly. Wyatt went a bit high. Putt again, popping it back to Venter. Now Strauss. He's caught by Llewellyn. You can see the aggressiveness of the Neath forwards. South Africans will want to release this earlier. And Neath doing a good job of getting their hands on the ball. Well, the indication from the referee was that there were hands in down at the bottom. And so Neath winning the penalty was good defence work by the Neath pack of forwards.
Ons het vooraf gehoor dat die span van Neath baie goed verdedig. Het gesê dat hulle die Springbokke gaan neutraliseer as die Springbokke gaan dryf deur hulle eenvoudig laag te vat. Die bal nie uit nie, Gavin Johnson.
Nicely taken by Johnson, and that's a good hoist by him. Where is that going to get? The wind just taking it out on the full, so they go right back almost up to the halfway line. And this wind is extremely strong.
Ook nou liggies is oor en is baie moeilik om die bal agter in die lynspan te gooi met so sterk wind. Daarom sal ons sien dat baie van die balle vorentoe sal gaan. Die spelers sal te bang wees om agter te gooi, want die wind sal hom van koers afdruk en dan so skrim veroorsaak.
Well, there we saw Neath throw into the back of the line out, and the referee blowing it up was because it wasn't in straight. Good call, Francois.
Hier in die diskant Brian Williams wat skram teen een hating. Brian Williams wat reeds 5 toetse vir Wallis gespeel het.
Kevin Putt not interested in putting that ball into the scrum until it's steady. Landre van der Berg on this side of the scrum, also shown good early tour form. Strauss just controlling at the back. That scrum much more solid by the South Africans. It looked like there was something there, the referee indicating to his head. Wasn't quite sure what that penalty was for. I think it could well have been for one of the transgression by the tight head prop John Davies. John Davis, who in fact we saw him from momentarily walking away from that scrum, won Mr. Wales strongman competition. And now for the first time on the tour we have Gavin Johnson kicking at goal. It's an encouraging sign for South Africa because his right ankle has been not too good, and obviously it's come right again. Joel Stransky has not really had great form with the boot. He's only kicked 3 goals out of 9 attempts. Now he'll have to aim this a little bit towards the left hand upright and let the wind do the rest. Important for South Africa. And the wind just taking it past that right hand upright.
Gulden geleentheid vir die Springbokke daar met een eerste punt in hierdie kragmeter aan te teken. En met 8 minute verstreek in die eerste helfte nog geen telling.
Thomas, the man who kicked off. It was Kembury, who's a tall man, playing number 6 flank for Neath. Putt. Nicely hands there by now. A chance here for Sturant. He's got the pace. He didn't see Jacques Olivier coming through quickly on the far side. Jacques Olivier having a little tussle with his opposite number. I mean, totally unnecessarily, because his opposite number tackled him without the ball.
Yes, there was a lot of talk made in the papers this week that they're not going to stand back for the South Africans, and they're very fired up, and you'll see right through the first half it's going to be a very fiery match.
Jones to Thomas. Thomas, who I must say is a very slightly built guy. Now just watch on the left here, John, as Jacques Olivier's tackled there. Look there.
Baie frustrerend, hy het die bal nie in sy hande nie. En hier in die voorgrond Jacques Olivier wat sy man aandurf. Maar is duidelik dat in hierdie wind sal die Springbokke van kort aangeewerk gebruik maak om die wind te neutraliseer.
I think they set up the drive here. You can see the ball maybe go to Kobus Visser, and they'll set up the drive trying to get the forwards over the advantage line.
Difficult there. It's good, well taken by Kembury for Neath. See how quickly he turned and went on the charge, but he's lost it forward. Difficult ball for Stransky. Now Brendan Venter looking for support, looking on the inside there for Gary Teichmann. Putt. Referee indicating that was a knock-on by South Africa. Neath with the putting of the ball. It's at the scrum.
Weer eens waardevolle besit wat die Springbokke daar verloor het. Maar wat gebiedsvoordeel betref is dit net die Springbokspan tot dusver.
They're using the wind quite effectively. With a wind like this, they'll have to concentrate on throwing the ball at 2 in the lineouts, because it's gonna take the ball all over the place when you throw it on a lob on 4.
Well, it looks like Hugh Woodland is ready to take his place again. Gets a big cheer from the crowd. That cut been mended. A little bit of trouble there for Jones. And now Strauss on the charge. He's looking for support. He gets it nicely from Stransky. Stransky turning well. Ball being taken away from Kevin Putt. Well, it was a good little run there by Tion Strauss, and he managed to find Stransky and support.
Tian did very well there. He didn't stop playing until the whistle blew. They knocked it on and he capitalized very well.
Little tap from Jones to Thorburn. You saw that, how the wind just foxed Gavin Johnson momentarily there. Johnson running strongly down the wing, taken in by Landre van der Berg. Now they want to set this up quickly. The referee waiting for advantage. Penalty to South Africa. Neath going over and using the hands.
Maar het was briljante spel van Gavin Johnson wat met min beweegruimte om nou self uit die moeilikheid uitgehardloop het. En hier is geleentheid vir Gavin Johnson om die eerste punte vir die Springbokke nou op die tellbord te plaas. Die Springbokke wat met hierdie sterk wind van agteraf speel. En tot dusver twee manne wat uitstaan en die voorspelers Tian Strauss en Osterrand. En François Osterrand sy rugby wat eenvoudig blom op hierdie toer.
Hy oefen baie hard en hy het baie meer selfvertroue as aan die begin van die jaar, want hy het maar min wedstryd vir Vrystaat gespeel. Hy begin sy voete vind in die Springbokspan en van die begin af is hy een van die spelers wat uitstaan in die vaste los en ook in die los.
Not if a ruck is formed and using hands back.
Still a couple of niggling little injuries in the Springbok camp. Tinus Lanise still battling a little bit with a strained hamstring, and Henny LaRue was just hobbling the other day with a bit of a groin strain, and Barley Swart tells me his back is coming right.
Gavin Johnson, een van die gewilde manne in die span. Kom ons hou hom dop. Sy bal wat op koerspale toe is. Net nie daar nie. Suid-Afrika wat nou reeds by 2 geleenthede na die pale gemik het. Gavin Johnson, die telling is 0-0. En kom ons kyk wat nou gebeur. Gaan dit oor die kwartlyn trek.
James Dalton reads it so well there. He saw that there was something on. The Neath players going in very quickly.
One thing that they're doing very well here, when you go to ground, they play over you. They stay on their feet and they're allowed to play the ball there. We have to clean out as a pack if we want to have a good position for our backs.
Thomas. And now we've had 12 minutes in the first half. And still no score. South Africa with those 2 attempts at goal. Neath just the one sort of rush into the South African 22-metre area. Neath have played against South Africa 5 times. It's always been a combined Neath-Aberravin. Nicely read there by James Dalton. It's a penalty. Came through too soon.
That to me is very strange because the hookers here play the same way as James Dalton. We've adapted and we've been telling the guys to go off when they tap the ball from the air, and they seem to allow their players to do that, especially against Neath. The hooker came around the front a lot of times.
Thomas wat verlede jaar vir Wallis onder 19 gespeel het, hou die bal laag teen die wind, 'n bal wat hy nie uitkry nie.
It's nicely taken by Putt, then fed up to Gary Teichmann. Putt again getting involved with the forwards coming through. As Francois was saying, they need to take out as a pack. Stransky, Muller, Johnson's up in the line. Peter Muller's well tackled there by Woodland. The drive continues. That's good driving by the South African forwards. Peter Muller is right in the thick of things there. Ian Hutton trying to work it out hard. It's Putt. And then it's Gavin Johnson who was up in the line, fed it back to Kobus Wiese. You see the black jerseys swarming around him. Nicely fed out by Johnson to Chris Badenhorst, and beautiful feed on the inside. Gavin Johnson shut down by Paul Thorburn.
Dis baie bemoedigend die eerste keer wat Chris Badenhorst aan die bal vat. Klop hy sy man, maar die skeieregter wat 'n strafskop gaan toeken aan die Springbokke vir onkantspel deur die agterlyn van Neath, en hier is die maklikste geleentheid vir Gavin Johnson tot dusver.
Well, that again, that penalty coming from the concerted drive by the South Africans. That's Gareth Llewellyn with his arms on his hips.
Kobus drove very well against Wales, and he'd like to improve on that performance tonight. He took the ball up there, laid it down, and the back cleaned out very well. That's laid the platform for the backs. With a tight defence, we'll have to do that the whole evening. It's going to be very difficult playing against the wind.
Daar sien ons die goeie dryfspel van die Springbokke. Hou nou dop Gavin Johnson op 'n loskakelposisie en nou die buiteswing van Chris Badenhorst. Klop sy opponent daar, hou die bal mooi binne spel. Gavin Johnson weer by om die bal in die hande te kry. Maar die skeieregter wil sien daar's geen voordeel nie en is dit punte vir Suid-Afrika. 20 minute verstreek in die eerste helfte. En kom ons kyk of die Springbokke nou kan voorloop. Gavin Johnson. Met die wind van agter. Die hoogte is daar, die lengte is daar en die Springbokke wat voorloop met 3 punte teenoor 0. En 'n mens moet sê dis 'n welverdiende voorsprong François.
Gavin het eers hierdie week weer begin skop en dit sal sy selfvertroue baie goed doen, die feit dat hy daar in hierdie paal gestoot het. Dis ongesien van Gavin om so in die begin sommer mis te skop.
Well, things looking good for the Springbok forwards as well. That was a good drive, as Francois was saying, by Kobus Wiese. The other forwards right in behind him. And important that South Africa do turn around with a good advantage. Good hanging kick there by Thomas. Jones, Rodney Jones, who came around very quickly from the scrum half position. Neath, who played against Oxford University on Saturday and beat them by 30 points to 22. The Lions 6th on the log in the Welsh League, behind such sides as Swansea, that South Africans will play on Saturday, Neath. Just looking for the attacking kick. Johnson took there again. Johnson battling to judge the wind. Look how the Neath forwards climb in. It's Jeff Bird who goes in strongly, the number 12 centre, also helping his forwards. One of the Springboks is lying. It looks like Chris Badenhorst is down. A little bit of shoving and pushing going on between Kobus Wiese and Gareth Llewellyn.
Kom ons hou hierdie skop dop. Gavin Johnson wat sy oë op die bal hou, maar dit is baie winderig, moeilik om hierdie bal vas te vat. Word daar sonder die bal geloop. Chris Badenhorst wat op die bal probeer val en in die proses wat hy daar een van die spelers raak getrap en ons hoop dat Chris Badenhorst sal kan opstaan. Chris Badenhorst, regtervleuel van die Vrystaat. Wie sal ooit daai pragtige 3 vergeet wat hy gedruk het in die tweede toets teen die Pumas op Ellis Park. Nou ietsie oor hierdie veld. Hier's kapasiteit vir 10,000 mense. Die veld is gepak. Almal wat uitsien na hierdie wedstryd. Die Springbokke wat dan vanaand in hulle 4de wedstryd van die toer speel. Kom ons hou weer dop. Gavin Johnson. Bal wat uit sy hande uitglip. Jules of Chris Badenhorst wat probeer om op die bal te val. Thornburn wat verby hom hardloop en nou in die proses wanneer die speler van Neath bykom, Chris Badenhorst wat seer kry.
But I think it could have been that accidental left boot of Woodburn there as he went down. I think just caught Chris Badenhorst in the rib there, Francois.
Yes, it seemed that his knee, as he wanted to make the tackle, hit Chris in the ribs, and he let the ball go right after that, so I think that's where he got injured.
Well, this is unfortunate for South Africa. There you see the very slightly built Arwell Thomas. He's a youngster, he just, as John was saying, played for the Welsh under-19 side last year. And this is unfortunate for South Africa. Don't need these types of injuries.
Hierdie span van Neath is 'n mengsel van jeug en ervaring. Ons die ervare Paul Thornburn op julle agter en dan op linkervleuel ons vir Lee Davis wat nog 2 maande gelede vir Wallis skole gespeel het in Australië. Maar 'n span wat baie gemotiveerd is. Andre Joubert gereed om op die veld te verskyn.
Francois, how have you found the Welsh players? I mean, do you find them physically tough?
Yes, very, very much so. Their defense is, they're very good around the edges, and that's one of their strengths, I would say. They're competitive. They play an 80-minute game. They never let go. Even against Glenelg when we were ahead by a lot of points, they didn't let go. They kept on playing. So I would say one of their biggest assets are their defenses and their skills with the ball on these conditions. It's fantastic.
Well, a bad moment for South Africa. Chris Badenhorst very obviously sore in the ribs, and his place has been taken by Andre Joubert. Now, good attacking position for Neath as Jones comes running away. He's strong on his feet, and he gets through. Jones is in for the try. Got past his man. He's a strong, stocky man, and that's a tremendous score for the home side.
Springbokke wat daar op die verdediging geval het. Jones, wat daar uit de laagvat uit losgekom het. Gavin Johnson wat nou op die rechtervleuel speel en Andre Joubert op julle agter. Maar François, kom eens kyk naar hierdie 3.
Nou, die eerste man is Kevin se, hy vat hom. Kevin Pat se eerste man was die skrimskakel geweest. Hy het van hom weggekom. Elandrey ongelukkig gemis en baie sterk hardloper. Goed gebalanceerd en 'n baie goeie 3.
Eerste 3 van die wedstrijd wat gedruk word deur Rodney Jones. En Neath wat voorloop met 5 punte teenoor 3. Chris Badenhorst wat die veld verlaat.
And interestingly enough, it's going to be Arwell Thomas to take the conversion attempt. As we see this again, you see how strong his legs are and just barging straight through the tackle.
Gavin Johnson wat daar die regte ding gedoen het om na die vleuel te hardloop en om te probeer vasvat, maar ongelukkig die landry wat die laagvat gemis het. Geleentheid vir die Roskakel Thomas om te kyk of hy nog 2 punte kan byvoeg.
Die verdedigingspatroon aan die binnekant sou gewees het Kevin Pratt en dan Landry van den Berg met die heel agter wat sou inkom op die vleuel en indien hulle heel agter sou skuif.
Perfect view of the kick and into the wind if this goes over. It's a great conversion. Yeah, tremendous kick by Thomas. So after 20 minutes in the first half, Neath go into the lead, 7 points to 3, and in the background you can probably hear the chant of Neath, 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 and that puts the fear of most things into all the visiting sides here. You see the wind taking that kick away. That time it was Bird who collected. Neath controlling well. Jones, Thomas hasn't found his touch. Johnson, or no, Andre Yobert rather, in all sorts of trouble, but controlled the ball superbly. Williams was back for it. I must say this little Barry Williams has impressed with his fire.
Hy is die man in beeld. Verlede dinsdag vir Wallis 18 Springbokke gespeel. Gepak sit hulle om die Springbokke dop te hou. Die Springbokke baie gewilde span hier in Wallis.
Pressure, don't let him. Move, Ali.
That's a good ball for Stansky to attack with. This is a great gap by the fly half. Could go all the way. Desperately looking for support as it comes on either side. Another Neath this ball quickly. The referee waiting for advantage. He has his hands up for the penalty. Well, that's happened quite a lot on the tour, hasn't it, Francois?
Yes, definitely. They seem to come around the edges and go over the man, but they stay on their feet and they allow it. And if you stay on your feet, you can play the ball, and that's exactly what they're doing. As I said previously, we have to clean out as a pack. But Joel made a terrific break, and he was far ahead of the forwards. We got there in ones and twos, and they infringed. They came over, and some of the guys were playing the ball from an offside position. Unlucky, I thought we could have put on a try there because it was open on the left-hand side.
Well, you can see how close Gavin Johnson is. This should be a formality. Making no mistake. Couldn't be more central than that. And so just 1 point the difference. And what have we had, John? 25 minutes in the first half.
So 28 minute verstreek in die eerste helft. Dit was 'n pragtige breekslag van Joel Stransky. Springbokke wat agterloop met 1 punt. Maar onthou die Springbokke speel saam met die wind. En ons kan uitsien na 'n baie interessante tweede helfte wanneer die Springbokke teen die wind gaan speel. En die span van Neath baie gemotiveerd. Dit kan mens sien in hulle verdediging.
The Springboks having difficulty in controlling, taken forward by Brian Williams. Very strong on the run. Now a chance for the backs to get going. It's Williams on the outside of Thomas there. So Thomas got a little bit, got a bit of a smack.
Kom ons kyk weer aan die verdediging van die Springbokke hierso. Thomas wat die gaafpunt probeer neem, dan sit Oosdurant wat hom netjies neertrek, volpunte vir sy verdediging.
Oosdurant showed that he has pace aplenty. The other day in practice he did a superb cover in touch rugby. He did a tremendous cover job on Chester Williams. Referee getting right in amongst the front rows. Once again, the referee just clarifying things to the front rows. Oosdurant just moving away. Tion Strauss giving advice. There's experience against Oosdurant there that John Davis played in 14 test matches, taken around the short side by Williams. Steve Williams, who also played against South Africa, penalty to Neath. The referee indicating that there was players coming in from the wrong side of the maul.
François, is dit nie kommerwekkend die aantal strafskoppe wat die Springbokke tot dusver afgestaan het op hierdie toer. Verlede Saterdag 22 strafskoppe teen die Springbokke, slegs 9 vir ons.
Ons het al die strafskoppe wat ons afgestaan het op die toer reeds uitgehaal en ons is besig met te bestudeer, sodat ons die wat ons gereeld die strafskoppe afgee, dat ons dit kan minimaliseer. Want dit is 'n kommerwekkende aspek vir ons. Definitief kan dit vir ons duur te staan kom in 'n wedstryd waar 3 punte 'n verskil gaan maak.
Well, Arwell Thomas now with his penalty attempt. It's a lot easier than his successful conversion attempt. Quite clearly see that he has youth on his side. Caught that. It's almost like a golf shot when you hit it wrong, just the wind accentuating the mistake. And that veering quite badly to the left-hand side of the upright. Stransky looking to take quickly. A little nifty bit of footwork by Thomas. Now Andre Yubert is back for it. Did that go forward? The referee said play on. And so the touch judge has his flag about 10 metres in the South African half.
Baie moeilik om hierdie bal te bemeester. Andre Yubert moet nou met die regtervoet gaan skop. Ongelukkig gaan ons dit nie sien nie. Dis die kaptein reeds 30 toetse vir Wallis gespeel. Ook sy broer het vir Wallis gespeel. Llewellyn.
You can see that Gareth Llewellyn is fired up, nicely taken at the back by Gary Teichmann. Pat. Now work for Thorburn. The left wing is Lee Davis. Difficult bounce for him. Johnson is up. Nice little bit of footwork there by Lee Davis, and good defence by the Neath left wing. As I say, just 2 months ago he was playing in Australia for Welsh schools. So in Wales here they decide if you're young enough and you can play, you're certainly good enough, and they put you on the field. Kimberly up at the front of the Neath, the line out to try and disturb Quibus Visa. It's taken down there by Chris Scott. This is good running by Williams. Very strong by Kimberly. This is great play by the Neath forwards. You can see how tight they are behind one another. The touch judge has his flag pointing out. This is Scott trying to be scragged by Joel Stransky. Andy Lumley van der Berg. Counter play. The strong work by Barry Williams, the Neath hooker. Taken on now by Davis. Be interesting to see. There's a lot of kicking and hitting. Thorburn is in now. Jones feeding it back there. A little bit of a knock forward. And we'll have to come all the way back to see what the touch judge has to say. Well, that was unnecessary. One of the Neath players going in when the fight had already stopped.
Maar hier wat ons opgemerk het, was dat Driekus Hatting daar sonder die bal gespeel is. Daarna was James Dalton ook in 'n voorval betrokke. Maar hierdie span is bekend daarvoor dat die pap dit kan aanmaak. 2 jaar gelede teen die Wallabies. Het die Wallabies verklaar dat hierdie manne knyp, dat hulle baie ongeoorloofde spel toepas. En dis die Springbok wat sake fyns op dop vanaand.
Unfortunately, we're not wired into the referee today, so we can't hear what he's saying. It's that man, Andrew Kimberly, who's got a little bit of blood on his forehead. He seemed to be upset about something. Gareth Llewellyn. Now let's see who they single out. It looks like it's Quibus Visa who's been called across.
Lyk nie of Quibus daarmee saamstem met jou.
Well, the referee obviously talking to Quibus very sternly. So penalty to Neath, and Tian Strauss just giving the full explanation of it. That's Brian Williams, the loose-head prop, who's in a bit of trouble. Just a bit of blood on his face.
Kaptein in beeld. Llewellyn. Brian Williams met nummer 1. Hy het verlede jaar so byna sy hand verloor in 'n saagongeluk. Sy vrou wat 18 myl met hom gejaag het na hospitaal om daardie hand te heg. Maar kom ons hou dop. Driekus Hatting, wat probeer om hier 'n man vas te vat en kyk na die ongeoorloofde spel op Driekus Hatting.
Nommer 6 het hom daar met die kop geslaan, duidelik voordat hy in die loskrim ingegaan het.
Kom ons hou vir Kobus Wiese dop.
Well, now Neath in a very good attacking position, a little bit sort of what we would call Dierbakar spell there. But Neath now very much in an attacking position. And Brian Williams has been replaced by, who is it, Mike Morgan. That's a good catch in the line-out by Kembury. Scott working hard. Scott's a fiery flank forward, number 7. Morgan will be number 16. There you just see him on the left-hand side of the scrum, rather number 18.
Valpunte vir die Springbokke se goeie verdediging hier op die doellyn.
And now the referee calling out James Dalton.
There's something that's developed here in Wales, that the referees make a lot of spectacle surrounding penalties. They usually call out the player and the crowd get all hyped up and everybody gets involved, and then they shout off, and then he will just warn him for scrumming too low or something like that.
Well, we all know James Dalton. He's a competitive character, so badly wants to do well. He sat with us a little while this afternoon and he's enjoying the combativeness of the tour. It's a good scrummage by Neath, controlled at the back by Williams. Good counter defence by South Africa. Jones, Thomas. Now the chance for them to get the backs running. That was Davis who came in from the left wing. Once again, the Neath forwards going in very hard. Jones, grabbed by Stransky. Puck trying to bring him down, but you see the power of the Neath pack. That's in numbers. South Africa under a lot of pressure. Well, there was no advantage, so the referee indicating that a South African came in on the wrong side of that maul. And a penalty which should be a mere formality for Arwell Thomas. What have we had now? 35 minutes in the first half, John, and things not looking great for South Africa. 7 points to 6, they trail. And this sitter for Thomas could take it to 10 points to 6 with half-time looming.
Daar wag 'n groot taak op die skouers van die Springbokke in die tweede helfte. Maklike skop vir Arwell Thomas.
Well, very often, we've seen it so often at the Toyota Club Championships when there's been a strong wind. Very often a side turns against the wind. They know they have to carry the ball and they do very well into it. Thomas with the 3 extra points.
So ons maak nie gebruik van die wind nie. Ons het die wind agter ons en ons sal dit gebruik in die laaste 5 minute. Ons bes gee om punte aan te teken sodat ons as ons teen die wind dra, ons die bal kan indra en met ons voorspelers heeltyd opvat.
Well, it was very good play by the Neath forwards that took them up to that penalty position. And there we see Brian Williams taking the field. James Dalton couldn't control now Osturan going forward. But the referee calling him back for that scrum was Neath's advantage. Young Barry Williams in the middle of that scrum must be enjoying himself with the experience of Brian Williams, who's 36 years old, and John Davis, who played in all Wales's games last year. Thorburn, so the experience of Paul Thorburn, who's kicked over 2,500 points for his club and has captained Wales.
Hier is strafskop wat toegeken is aan Neath. Thomas hier agter, maar jy praat van Paul Thorburn. Hy het Suid-Afrika natuurlik in 1989 besoek as 'n lid van die wêreldspan met ons Eelfees jaar. Jarelange staatmaker vir Wales. Waar is die toeskouers wat hierdie wedstryd geniet, veral die feit dat hulle span voorloop. Frans, wat die gasvryheid hier in Wallis is geweldig, né?
Uitstekend, die mense geniet hulle rugby. en hulle komplimenteer ons as ons goeie rugby speel en jy weet, hulle het ook hulle eie opinies. Die mense kom almal na die stadions toe. Jy kan sien die stadion is verpak vanaand en geweldige lekker atmosfeer vir die span wat teen ons speel.
Kevin Putt probing for ground. The referee indicating that there was an obstruction at the line out. His elbow is out, he's moving it back, so a chance for South Africa with this penalty. It's in a kickable position, but certainly not an easy kick for Gavin Johnson.
Gavin's tracked the previous one very good, and it'll do his confidence a lot of good if he can get this one over. He seems to get into his rhythm, and I think you can see this one going very close.
Springbok stelskoppers wat baie aandag aan hulle stelskopwerk bestee. Maar dit is 'n moeilike skop, moeilik om te beoordeel. 50% suksesverhaal. Maar die punteverskil kan 1 punt wees indien hy met hierdie skop sou slag. Kom ons hou sy konsentrasie dop. Gavin Johnson.
Well, has he judged that? No, just he didn't quite have the distance either. Thorburn will just wait for the Springboks to close in and just happy to use up the time. A productive first half, and he's a very good try by scrum half Jones. Now Stransky. It could have got a little bit too far. They'll need to follow up. You see Thorburn used to the wind. And that kick by Stransky going far too far. No trouble at all for Paul Thorburn.
Thorburn kept his eye on the ball and tremendous catch. You know, he's been playing in the wind.
Roljanda omgedraai. Andre Joubert die enigste Springbok wat druk toepas. Heel agter in die lyn staan vir die Springbokke Driekies Hatting. Jong White sy teenstander vanaand.
Well taken there by Kevin Putt. Referee indicating it wasn't in straight. Jones, Thorburn.
Net op hoe intelligent hou die bal laag op die grond teen die wind. Alles is stempel van 'n groot speler.
And I suppose John, one must say that he's had the experience of playing. He's played for Neath for 10 years now. And there you see it low along the ground. And he's obviously knows the Gnoll, which they call this Neath home ground, is like the back of his hand. Important that South Africa control at the line. This time Ilombe van der Berg coming through. Referee again indicating that there was barging in the line out.
This is Ilande's third game on a trot, and he must feel the rugby now. He's been throwing 3 games in the row since we played Cardiff.
Good kick by Joel Stransky, very safe.
40 minute verstreek in die eerste helfte. Neath wat voorloop met 10 punte teenoor 6. Hulle het die enigste rief van die kragmeting gedruk vir die kykers wat sopas ingeskakel het. En dit is baie belangrik dat die Springbokke nou iets met hierdie besit sal moet doen.
Hutton, that's a good jump by Driekies Hatting on the inside towards Durant. Now it's important that the rest of the forwards get in behind the ball extremely quickly. There's Putt trying desperately to grab it. Stransky looking for space. And huge tackle there by Kembury. They were offside with Neath players. Quickly taken there by Putt, and he couldn't gather it again. Now, what does the referee seems a little bit confused. Kevin Putt took that tap penalty extremely quickly, but it just kicked it away from him a bit. Here we see again how he took it, just couldn't hold on to it. May well have been over for the try, but South Africa, well, may well rue the fact that they didn't take the 3 definite points.
De bedoeling was goed, ongelukkig het nie gewerk vir die Springbokke nie. Manne wat mekaar weer vat, Kobus Wiese wat op hard praat met die skeieregter.
Well, it looks like this guy, Andrew Kembury, is a fiery customer. He's in the thick of most things, as is Kobus Wiese for South Africa. South Africa will want to put the pressure on. That's a good steady scrum by Neath. Thomas. It's a little bit of injury time, and there the referee has blown for half-time. So South Africa with the first points on the board, a 15-minute penalty, then a very good try by the scrum half Jones, converted by Thomas from the touchline, 7 points. They exchange penalties, 10 points to 6. Neath, good value for their half-time lead. Don't go away, we'll be back with you. Well, a very tough second half, and 40 minutes awaits South Africa, as young Arwell Thomas will restart the game with a very strong wind behind their backs. Kevin Putt made the free catch. And it will need a disciplined performance now from the South African forwards, won't it, Francois?
Yes, definitely. They'll have to drive it up. They'll have to keep calm and collected so they don't give away penalties, because the wind can carry the ball into a half. We have to play in their half, and when we get the opportunities, we have to score. It's gonna be very tough, because the crowd is behind the Neath side, and they're playing good rugby.
That's nicely taken by Jones, the scrum half. Thomas quickly looking for ground. Nicely positioned is Andre Joubert. He can use his pace here. Thorburn coming across. That was a terrific counter run by Andre Joubert. Taken on well by the South African forwards. Putt just passing it to Stransky. Now Peter Muller, the long one to Gavin Johnson, taking his eyes off it. Dalton in support. The referee will call him back. There will be no advantage there.
I see that the coach have moved Gavin to the wing and put Andre at fullback.
Was goeie spel van Andre Joubert, wat dit goed gelees het, die bal mooi in spel gehou. En die eerste keer dat ons die springbok agterry mooi in aksie gesien het. Brendan Venter. Nou Pieter Muller. Ongelukkig die aangeef wat verloren gaan. Gavin Johnson op die regtervleug.
Thomas. And that is a huge punt by Thomas. Although he's a slightly built fellow, you can see just how slight he is. He obviously has tremendous timing, and that's a very good punt into Springbok territory.
Coach claimed that they are fitter than our Springboks, and that's why they'll be more devastating in the second half than in the first half. So we have to step up a couple of gears.
Nicely taken by Visa. Good throw by Dalton. The referee indicating that it wasn't in straight, although it was to number 2 in the line out. Tian Strauss, number 8, leading the side for the first time. Nice to see him back in the touring party playing. Quick throw in by Jones. Andre Joubert read it beautifully. And the referee, Andre Joubert rather, calling for the mark. Well, again, trying to keep, you can just see how Andre Joubert's hair is blowing there. Have a look at the touch judge. No, well, they just took it away from us. I was about to say, when you get a chance, have a look at the touch judge's flag. Jikus Hutton competed well for that ball. Durant fed it back. Now Stransky. It was Steve Williams who came up very quickly on Joel Stransky. Young Chris Wyatt operating at number 2 for Neath. Played for the Welsh under-21s last year. 4 is Gareth Llewellyn, the man who gets the first touch there. Jones, Thomas. Now a chance for Bird to attack. He won't be too happy with that kick. Andre Joubert nearly getting a boot to it as he came hurtling through. Reminded that Chris Badenhorst is off the field with a rib injury. Andre Joubert operating at full back now with Gavin Johnson on the right wing. That was Hugh Woodland.
James Dalton battled yesterday and today with he's got swollen glands and he's not feeling very well. Rural Australia and Philip Skittle have also got fevers and they're at the hotel at this stage.
which was a good counter shove by South Africa. Now Johnson, what can he do here as he gets it back to James Dalton? Have to carry the ball forward. The forwards needs to get in behind that quickly. Good ball for Pat Stransky. There was nobody in position there. Peter Muller in all sorts of trouble. The Neath, that's what exactly what Neath want, is for the ball to go to ground and loose.
Springbokke wat sukkel met hanteerwerk in die wind. Maar een mens moet punte gee vir die goeie verdediging van Neath. Telkens wanneer 'n Springbok aan die bal vat, is dit daarom om vas te vat. Kobus Wiese, Osterrand.
John, is baie maklik om langs die kant te sit en praat, maar ons moet die bal opvat, ons moet hom inhardloop soos James gedoen het en dit weer doen, totdat hulle verdedigingspatroon heeltemal omvergewerp is en dan kan ons hom probeer wydvat.
Jones. Thorburn up in the line, but just driving for ground. That position there with the ball, the referee indicating that it touched a Springbok player. So now a very good attacking position for Neath right below us. The players must be about 30 meters from us.
Baie belangrike skrum vir die Springbokke.
We need to hold this scrum up. It's a good scrum by Neath. Penalty to Neath. Now, the referee will want to have a word with somebody here. Penalty to Neath. The referee are judging that the South Africans were offside at the scrum and Neath have decided to take the scrum. So it's important that the South Africans gather themselves here. Neath will want to put their weight behind it. They have quite a big pack of forwards. Now they've got number 11, Davis, come into the scrum position. Can they get that scrum coming forward under Yabé on the side? Williams drives. He's held up well, both by Strauss and by Yabé. Now taken ahead there by Gary Teichmann. Thorburn back for it. Jacques Olivier giving hard chase. Thorburn just hooking it and using the wind. Strauss, Thorburn coming up extremely quickly. But South Africa will be happy to have got out of that position, Francois.
Very good defence there, very good. Tian stayed out and they hit the man at the same time. I felt, the penalty in the first instance was unclear to me. They played the guys off the ball after that tackle. And we got lucky there to get away.
Touch. Well, it was just into touch without a touch. I thought Landre van der Berg might just have made a touch on that ball. But now, of course, things not going too well for South Africa as that position right on the 22, scrum in the middle, is a lovely attacking position. The entire Neath backline, as you see there, lining up on the left-hand side of the field to your right. One thing Neath have not had problems with tonight, and that's the scrummages. Fell up to Scott. Stransky holds on, as does Tian Strauss. He made the initial stop. Penalty now to Neath. The South Africans now having a few problems with the referee, but not staying on their feet. That man Scott just getting up there, who's a live wire number 7 flanker. And this will give Varlo Thomas a chance to extend the lead to 7 points. 10 points to 6 as we see it again, John.
Tian Strauss wat die verdediging uitvoer. Kom ons hou dop, die rede vir die strafskop.
One of our players went over the ball and he didn't retreat. He tried to play it on the ground, and that's what the penalty is there for. Seems that we're lacking a little bit of concentration. The guys must just collect themselves, concentrate, because definitely we've got the players in the pack to produce the goods and still win this game.
Ek kry die indruk, François, dat Neath vanaand Suid-Afrika op hulle sterkpunt aanvat in die voorspelers.
Hulle is baie gemotiveerd, hulle skrim baie goed. Hulle het lank slotte en hulle pak is gebalanseer. Maar ons het net sulke goeie spelers en dit nie beter in ons pak nie. Dis net 'n kwessie van 'n bietjie konsentrasie, selfvertroue terugkry en die bal daarso speel.
Thomas Bal wat hy gestel het net buite kan die kwartgebied. Punte verskil kan 7 punte word indien hy met hierdie skop slaag. Die jongeling groot oomblik. 10.000 Wallisers wat asem ophou. Hy's nie daar nie.
Well, that is quite amazing when you think what a magnificent conversion Thomas kicked from the touchline. Perhaps a little bit of nerves, perhaps overlying for the win, but that's a real let-off for South Africa. These posts are actually quite low, and the touch judges conferred for a little while before they decided that it wasn't over. Good play by Jikas Hutton and Kobus Visa. Kevin Putt feeding it to James Dalton. A strong tackle there by Scott.
You saw that the players came there on our side from the side of the scrum, and that was actually a penalty for us, but the referee allowed them to take away the players on the side.
James Dalton wat laaste opstaande man wat sy rugby geweldig geniet, of het volgens gesê geniet, elke oomblik van sy rugby.
Interesting that Thorburn has come right up in defence on this side of the field. There's nobody far back. I wonder if Joel Stransky has noticed that. Andre Joubert just trying to get his hands above the tackle. Thorburn was up quickly. And look at that from the fullback position. He grasped the ball.
Daar's nog baie tyd oor in die wedstryd. Ek voel dat die ouens nou bietjie dinge wil aanjaag en hulle moet net kalmeer. Dit sal kom. Hulle moet net daarso speel en die bal behou as ons vorentoe gaan.
It's from these set pieces that South Africa need to drive Neath back. See Kevin Putt putting the ball in very quickly there. Giles Schaas just trying to force his way over the advantage line. Putt. It's important that these types of kicks work and drive them back, as did that one. Back for it is Davis. Pressure from Johnson. And that kick by Davis, the bounce favouring him, taking the play right back up to just inside South Africa's half. But a very good kick and fall back and kick by Lee Davis. That's Andrew Kimberley, the man who's down. He's been in the thick of things. Very tall for a flank forward, about 6'7". That's what's about 2.1 meters, 2.2 meters in fact. He is one of the men involved in that skirmish when Kobus Visa was penalised.
He went in there for a tackle on Tian, and he went a bit high and missed him. I think he must have fell wrong on the ground because nobody was near him when he got injured.
Francois, your practicing conditions, the weather has been pretty lousy since you've been here.
Well, we had 2 great days yesterday and today, and we trained quite hard. Like Andre Joubert, he must feel it. This morning we went out for a tough training session, and he went full out all the way. So he must feel it on the park now, and didn't want to go on so early on in the game.
Bal wat agter ons in die lynstaande gegooi word. Suid-Afrika wat waardevolle besit verloor so. Baie moeilik in die wind.
Now, can Stransky make something of this? Brendan Fenton into the line, comes Joubert beautifully, and he's got Jacques Olivier. He's got a clean run to the goal line. Jacques Olivier's pace could take him in. Great tackle from the back by number 14 was Chris Higgs. All the Jacques Olivier in there. You see the try line just about 10 metres away, and it was a lovely dart into the line by Andre Joubert. Fabulous backline work, but Chris Higgs, watch this for being hauled in from the back. Remember that Jacques Olivier is carrying the ball.
Jacques Olivier vastberade hardloop by vir die doellyn. Dan word hy vasgevat. Die doellyn is 5 meter ver. Maar dit was baie goed om Andre Joubert in die agterlyn te sien. Hy die man oor bewerkstellig en nou kan die Springbokke punt aanteken.
Skitterende verdediging. Dis al die Springbokke baie selfvertroue in die agterlyn om hulle aan te vat op die regte tyd.
Now important throw in for Jolton. Visa takes beautifully. Can the forwards? Well, he went to ground a little bit too quickly. See how Kembury has come around the ball. preventing it from coming out. Scrum to Neath. South Africa lost it. Use it or lose it. It was Gary Teichmann who took it in. That man Kembury just managed to fall on the correct side. Now the pressure needs to come from a South African point of view. Neath will just want to hold this scrum up. They've shown that they have the tight five, has the ability to do that.
Hier in die kant het ons nou vir ons Durant wat skrim teen John Davis. Nou Davis 'n veteraan van 14 toetse.
Jones, the man who cleared but didn't gain much ground, so this is a good attacking ball for South Africa. That's the man, the try scorer, Rodri Jones.
This is a very favourable position. We need to put points on the board here. If we get the points on the board, you'll see that the Springboks will concentrate more and their confidence will come back. At this stage, they're playing with not a lot of confidence and concentration.
About 15 metres from the Neath line. Important that they secure this ball at the line out. It's interesting to see, as soon as Kobus Wiese caught that ball, he was taken around the ankles. Hutton got the first touch. It was Kembury, who's been a real thorn in South Africa's side, who took it away. Jones. So Neath weathered the storm.
Kommerwekkend Frans was die Springbokke se lynsaanspel in hierdie kragmeet.
Ons verloor redelik baie balle. Die balle wat ons klap kom hulle deur en hulle maak baie goed skoon.
It's in fact been a feature of South Africa's 3 previous games that they have dominated in the lineouts, and that hasn't been the case tonight. Trying the deep alternative. Now Jacques Olivier trying to get round Barry Williams, who's a tough customer. He's a labourer by profession. You see how quickly the Neath players swarm around the ball. The weight of Wiese has to go in there. And the Neath players, you see Jones just holding it up to say Neath had it. What has the referee decided? It's going to be Neath put in at the scrum, despite the fact that South Africa were once again in possession. Neath, the spoiling of the ball, extremely effective at the moment. Jones, Thomas, that's Thorburn. Henry Bear just having to shield his eyes from the light now. Henry Bear, you know, to not green and gold jerseys around him. There are a lot of black jerseys around. Now the touch judge has his flag up still, so the crowd whistling to the referee. They'll have to come back for the line out. South Africa's ball. The referee indicating that Andre Joubert's foot was over the line when he threw it in. Or the touch judges, rather.
It's actually strange because when you infringe with the line-out, you should give them the option of choosing the line-out or the scrum, and he gave it back to us. So that to me is a very strange decision from the touch judge.
I think it was the fact that his foot was in the field of play, so therefore it still remains South Africa's ball. Watch his foot here, his left, right foot just, well, I thought he'd let go of the ball myself. What do you guys think?
I think the decision was for the ball not carrying 5 yards, and that's why I wanted to give it back to them.
Nou kan Neath die bal ingooi in die vaste skrum.
Jones, you won't be happy with that. That's far too far. It's that sort of good heel that the forwards get that they don't want wasted by the scrum half.
Nog so 24 minute wat oorbly in die tweede helfte. Die Springbokke wat agterloop met 6 punte teenoor 10. Dit was ook die rustuittelling. Ek glo dat die Springbokke bitter graag wil wegkom van hulle gebied. Weer bal afgeneem op ons.
Well taken by Kembury. Jones. And once again, Jones just not judging the wind very well. Maybe a better idea to let the ball go to his fly half and let the fly half kick if he feels it's necessary. Jones is wanting to take a little bit of pressure off the young Darrell Thomas. He certainly, Errol Thomas has shown that he's full of confidence. That's Scott, who's the smallest of the three loose forwards. And he's the open side player, very quick around the park. Nicely taken by Visa. Strauss got round very quickly. The referee indicating that time that the Neath forwards were not coming into the maul from the correct side. You have to come in from behind the back feet of the last man.
Now it's employing a short line out here. Of course, we're battling.
Goeie linkshand besit verseker deur Kobus Wiese. Kyk nou na die krag van die Springbok voorspelers as hulle bykom.
Well, Strauss must have heard you, Francois, because it's three up front, one at the back. Just Drickus Hutton on his own at the back. Kobus Wiese flanked by Horst Durant, Andy and Hutton.
Again, I think this ball will go to 2 and try and run it up in the middle.
Well, obviously they made the wrong call. It was taken by Wyatt unopposed. A little bit of a mix-up there amongst the South Africans. Wyatt took it well. But it looks like it's a good counter-rob by Kobus Wiese. See number 3, Ian Hutton, going in hard. Neath certainly competing hard for the ball. Putt. Now Stransky. Llewellyn is across with the cover defence. Now Andre Joubert, there's a big gap. No, there's not. He's held down by Thomas. Now Peter Muller. Peter Muller bouncing a man off strongly. It was Scott who felt the full weight of Peter Muller's hip there. Now Jacques Olivier. Jacques Olivier, that could have been called as a high tackle against Thorburn. Yeah, the referees called it.
Ons voel dat miskien 'n bietjie meer voordeel vir die Springbokke daar gewees het. Maar dit beter gelyk aan Springbokkant. Peter Muller wat sy krag daar in die middelveld gebruik het en dan Jacques Olivier wat van die diskant af oorgekom het. Net op die hoogvat op Jacques Olivier. Die skuldige Paul Thorburn. Geen twyfel nie, strafskop aan die Springbok.
Certainly South Africa looking like when they do carry the ball that they're giving problems for the Neath defence.
Good decision here from Tian. He's giving Andre Joubert the kick and it's on his left foot. So and he kicks the ball low into the wind. So the wind won't be such a big factor. Then when Gavin kicks it, we tend to kick it slightly a bit higher.
Moeilike skop vir Andre Joubert.
Another factor is that Andre Joubert has been successful with his last 3 goalable attempts. That was in the game against Llanelli. He missed the first 2, but then seemed to find his rhythm. And as Francois was saying, the angle is correct.
Is die telling waarmee die Springbokke agterloop. Goed deur die bal geskop. Dis 'n goeie skop van Andre Joubert. Hy's tussen die pale deur. Waardevolle punte vir die Springbokke. Wel gedaan Andre Joubert.
Well, that's a magnificent kick in the conditions by Andre Joubert. So just 1 point the difference, and now we move into the last 20 minutes of the game. Less than 20 minutes. John, what have we got on our watches?
Daar's nog so 21 minute speeltyd oor. In die tweede helfte. Maar is bemoediging dat die Springbok voorspelers al beter begin speel as 'n eenheid.
Ja, John, ons begin die bal naby aan die voorspelers hou en om dan opdryf en vir die agterspelers ruimte te bied.
Good work there by Drickus Hutton. Again, the Neath players are guilty of coming in on the wrong side. Stransky, Jones. See how nippy Jones is. But he's well robbed too. Jacques Olivier nearly took it off them. Now Jones again. In fact, it was Barry Williams that time, the fiery young hooker. He and James Dalton, this is the second time they've met, and they always seem to just smile at each other when they go down for the scrum.
Verdediging van Pieter Muller, kookwater, Jacques Olivier wat probeer om die bal af te neem. Een vir jou, een vir my, so gaan dit op die oomblik.
It was Scott who got in quickly, now little Barry Williams. Once again, South Africa not winning the ball at their own put-in. John Davis was prominent, picked up by Teichmann.
Well, I'm going to try and call this one again. I think the backs will try and take it a bit wide.
It's interesting to see where Thorburn stands from the on defence. He's standing right up in the backline position. Now free kick to Neath for an infringement at that scrum.
You know, again, it's a strange call. In New Zealand, we were taught that our ball is our call, and that was our ball, so we should make the call. And we should put the ball in when we are ready.
Thomas. Another difficult one for Andre Joubert. Well read. The referee not allowing the mark. That was strange, and that's great play by Andre Joubert.
Fantastic play. Andre caught it with his foot on the ground. He should have given the mark. The referee didn't allow it. He kept on playing, and wonderful kick. We're back where we want to be.
Andre wat groot indruk maak in Wallis, baie atleties. Mens hou van die manier waarop hy sy opsies opsom.
In fact, it was to South Africa's advantage that the referee didn't allow the mark. Wyatt at the front of the line out for Neath. Referee quite quickly indicating that Neath had not used it, the ball became static. So another chance for South Africa to attack with maybe what Francois says is correct, with the ball going wide. Always a little bit difficult from a scrum ball as the opposition players are lying so shallow. It'll need strong running from one of the centres. Now it's Tian Strauss. Teichmann coming in quickly behind him. Putt. Brendan Venter. Peter Muller gets under Thorburn's tackle. It's interesting again, I say that Thorburn is right up there now. There's nobody in the full-back position. The cover defence is coming across. Jacques Olivier looking for space. He's well held by Bird, by Woodland rather. Now taken on now by Andre Joubert up in the back line. Well, it was better carrying of the ball by South Africa, and eventually if they've got to win enough tight phase possession to be able to do that.
There was no room for Peter to move in, and he kept the ball alive. He went on forward, and that set up the play for the backs to the left-hand side of the park.
That was Woodland who made a very good tackle on Jacques Olivier. Llewellyn going deep. The referee didn't like it. And a free kick to South Africa. Quickly taken by Tian Strauss, who barges forward, help from Dalton. These players went 10 metres. Putt needs to take this quickly again. They perhaps drive up with the forwards. Stay on your feet, Kobus Visa. Or Suron comes in very quickly behind. Then Gary Teichmann.
Springbok om hierdie besit behou.
Well, the Springboks have been given the put-in at the scrum because the ball went to ground. It was a ruck position. South Africa going forward.
This is a very favourable position. We need to score here.
Kyk waar gaan staan Pieter Muller. Steek sy kop daar in die scrum in.
Can they keep it up? That scrum's going forward well. They're going to battle to stop this on Neath. Well, the Springboks really got that scrum moving forward. It's not in their interest to wheel the scrum. Putt made the feed extremely quickly, but Jones robbed him of it. The referee indicating that he wants them to scrum down again. The ball went straight through the tunnel.
Belangrike scrum vir die Springbokke.
Again, you see all the players going in behind the ball. Tian Strauss, can he force his way over? He yanks his way around. And the
is daar.
And the Springboks, Francois Pienaar almost shouted out in delight. One must credit that try to the captain of the night, Tian Strauss. He yanked himself over. Good work by the Springbok forwards, and a well-deserved try.
Wonderful stuff. I nearly swallowed the microphone there. I was so pleased. You know, we needed to score. Yeah, we've been training. Coach Keith Christie has been telling us if we get a 5-out scrum, we have to score. We have to score. And it proved, yeah. Tian took the ball, stayed on his feet, and when the tackle was made, he went right over. Great help there from Ian Hutton. Ian Hutton did very well there to get Tian over the line as well. I'm sorry, I think it was Osdurant again.
Tian Strauss wat hier staan met 'n welige snorspog. Nou vanoggend het hy ons meegedeel dat as die Springbok verloor gaan hy daai snor afskeer. Maar met krag oor die doellyn daar gegaan en die Springbokke wat dan hulle eerste 3 van die kragmeting druk. Soos Andre Joubert vanaand skop, is 2 punte besliste moontlikheid. En die Springbokke wat nou vir die eerste keer in hierdie wedstryd voorloop, hulle loop voor met 14 punte teenoor 10. Belangrike skop in die sin dat ons met 6 punte kan voorloop François as Andre met hierdie skop slag.
Definitief, en as die wind raak al hoe sterker hierso. Dit begin ook 'n liggies reën, so die omstandighede raak al hoe moeiliker. Maar hy tref die bal skitterend en hy's tussen die palle deur.
Well, that's 2 brilliant kicks by Andre Joubert, and I must say that Andre Joubert's good work. He called for a mark, he carried the ball and then kicked it into Neath territory, and from that position that Andre Joubert had done such great work for South Africa. South Africa then moved their way up the touchline, and that try by Tian Strauss. It's now very essential that South Africa concentrate. Neath will come back with a great bang. They've played with great spirit in this game. Putt. Davis. That's good handling by the Neath players. Kevin Putt was quickly up to make the tackle. And then the pop-up to Durant. I must say, if you see that man in possession at the moment, Os Durant, who's shown great ball skill.
Kevin Putt did very well with Jock helping him there to win the ball after a tackle. You know, the Springboks have settled in. They're playing with confidence. They're more relaxed, and they should play much better than they played in the first half in the last couple of minutes of this game.
Ons het weer eens baie goeie verdediging van die Springbokspan daar gesien. Die eerste linie van verdediging wat goed uitgevoer word deur die Springbokspan. Dit is so belangrik.
Jones, Thorburn. Once again, Andre Joubert is beautifully positioned. He'll have to run it out.
Stay, don't move. You're onside.
Jones, the scrum half for Neath. Thorburn. A lot of ground here to be made by Gavin Johnson. It's a good kick by Thorburn. Using the wind to good effect. How much time have we got left, John?
Ons het 12 meter wat oorbly, maar is goed opgesond deur Paul Thorburn. Hy sien hier 'n gaping. Gavin Johnson wat sien dat die bal uitrol. Maar 'n mens voel dat die Springbokke nou hulle foute tot die minimum sal moet beperk.
Definitief, ons het gedisciplineerd moet speel in die laaste paar meter. Die lyn staan is 'n probleem. Maak seker dat ons spasies oop is. Gee eerder vir hulle die bal voordat ons 'n strafskop afgee, en dan moet ons verdediging van daar af net hou.
Now you can hear in the background this crowd who really get behind their side. They were runners up in the league last year. They were the champions in 91, although they're lying 6, not done that well this year. Durant made the tackle on Williams very quickly. Jones, Thomas, Bird, and they couldn't hold on. Now a chance for South Africa to counter-attack. Joubert. That was a well-placed kick by Andre Joubert, and you can see a man just running in his way there. Paul Thorburn has to make a lot of ground. There's a huge punch-up going out of picture. Tian Strauss and trying to also Durant getting in there. And the touch judge has got his hand up. It's totally unnecessary that man Wyatt came circling into Tian Strauss there, and Wyatt could end up in serious trouble. Once again, Tian Strauss is attacked by Wyatt. It's James Dalton, and I can't tell who the Neath man is, down on the ground in a fixed position.
Die span is bekend van Neath dat die pap baie dik aan maak. Kom ons kyk of ons kan sien wat hier gebeur.
Well, that's illegal against the laws, but in any event there will be something. I don't know whether the touch judge picked up what went wrong, but there's again a little bit of a fracas. That Neath player is not allowed to prevent the South African from throwing the ball in, but we're way back to just outside the South African 22-meter area.
We didn't see the punch-up started. He started after the line-out, and we followed play, and all of them were rushing in from behind, joining in the punch-up. You know, before, and there was a lot of talk being made that Neath won't stand back for the Springboks, as if we are villains. We just try and play the ball. Our rucking has been on the ball. it's been blown out of proportion. I think, all the press kept on with the hype of this.
Well, I think that was right at the end of the punch-up, and Wyatt obviously pointing his finger. He's a youngster pointing his finger at the more senior Tion Strauss. But the referee obviously conferring with the touch judge, and they decided that both sides were guilty of infringing there, and so play to South Africa's advantage up just outside the Neath 22. Well, South Africa taking too long to put that ball into the line out, and a free kick to the home side.
Daar is nog so 5 minute oor. Die punteverskil is 6, 5 spannende minute wat oorbly.
Thorburn was the man who cleared to touch. First time we've seen Paul Thorburn in that headgear. It looked like that throw from James Dalton. It looks like the ball slipped a little out of his hand. It's a free kick to Neath. And they will want to attack in numbers from this position.
After that punch-up, we must just be cool, keep the defence going, keep the momentum going, and we'll be able to win this game.
Thomas. That's a well-placed up and under. Reminds one of it, beautifully taken by Durant. Magnificent play by the loose-head prop. Pat has a chance to clear.
Uitstekende spel van Os Durant.
Well, once again, the little dodgy there. It always appears that Kembury and Wyatt are in the thick of it for Neath. Let's see what happens here. Look at that catch by Durant. He secured the ball. One certainly can't see why the players got so upset with each other. We've just had an announcement over the public address system that man, Andrew Kembury, has been announced as man of the match.
They also announced that on our side, Cooper's Visa to them is the man of the match.
Well, there's Llewellyn coming through. No, it was Wyatt who came through too quickly, and relief for South Africa. They won't want to take this kick in too much of a hurry.
Joel is calling them to calm down. Being the vice-captain, very sensible, just need to kick it out and still output him.
And that's a very good kick into the wind. The wind is still strong. He hit that perfectly.
Belangrik dat die Springbokke weer die bal in hierdie lynstand kan ingooi.
So we've got to wrap up after the final whistle. The game in which South Africa will be happy if they do win it. But it's been a tough forward battle, hasn't it?
Very much so. It was always going to be up front. The conditions not conducive to running the ball. The guys kept their heads, even when they were behind. They kept the momentum going and played very well. There's still a couple of minutes in it, but if you keep the defence up, we will win this game, and the show is still on the road for us.
Well, we just counting our chickens perhaps a little bit too early, because Neath is still full of fire. As they drive through the middle, you see Llewellyn just driving there. Now it's a penalty. They'll probably take this quickly. It's taken quickly by Jones. Now Scott running hard. South Africans haven't fallen back 10 metres. They'll need to fall back quickly and turn. And Neath deciding that they will go for the uprights. Well, this could suit South Africa, in fact, because they're 6 points in the lead, 4 or 5 minutes to go. And this will use up at least a minute and a half. And, of course, give South Africa the kick-off if it does go over. Remembering that Thomas missed a kick, an easier, well, almost a kick from almost in exactly the same position.
Thomas wat vanaand goed aan die paal geskop het. Jong kerel. Maar wat verlede jaar nog vir die Wallis onder 19 span gespeel het. Die wind is van agter. 16-10 die telling waarmee die Springbokke voorloop. Daar bly 2 minute oor as Thomas voor hom toe kom.
Yeah, that time he made absolutely certain, so there's just 3 points in it. Which of course does mean that if Neath drive back and score from this movement that they will win the game, whereas before they would have only had the chance to get the 5 points on the board for the try. Would have had to have scored in a kickable position. Now taken by Williams, the number 8. Scott working hard. Jones, Thomas, putt coming onto him very quickly. Good clearance by the little fly half.
Thomas wat die wind gebruik om Neath binne die halfgebied van die Springbokke te plaas. Hierdie is 'n baie belangrike lyn staan vir die Springbokke.
There's a Neath player who's down.
Dis die afstand Steve Williams wat seer gekry het. Die man wat hom stellig sal vervang is Richard Morris.
Williams, Steve Williams, who has just had one test for Wales, that against Tonga earlier in the year. He played for the Wales A side against South Africa last week. And, it's always unfortunate. I always don't enjoy watching the stretcher being brought onto the field.
Williams wat hard grond te gebring is deur Tiaan Strauss. Kom ons kyk hoe hy seer gekry het. Gary Teichmann wat hom daar vasvat.
It was a strong tackle by Gary Teichmann. So we'll have a little bit of injury time at 2 or 3 minutes.
It looks like his knee twisted when he took the tackle from Gary. Very unfortunate to see a stretcher being brought onto the field to carry a player off.
That man Richard Morris will be the man to get his cap. A big moment for him, although it will be only for a couple of minutes. And that's bad luck for Steve Williams. One of the 5 full Welsh internationals in this Neath side. This ball almost definitely to go to number 2, to Kobus Wiese. The understanding has been pretty good between Wiese and Dalton. Couldn't hold on, neither could Wyatt. Referee just waiting for advantage, which would be the knock-on from Wyatt.
We were going forward there, and I thought that we had a bit advantage to offer when we were going forward in that drive.
Well, once again, one looks up and one sees acres of ground directly in front of the uprights there, Francois. Well, one can't understand quite why there's a free kick in that position. Now the Neath forwards come storming away. It's Morris with fresh legs. Jones, Thomas, driving for space. Andre Yabir is nicely positioned, but now the line-out will take place about 15 metres outside the South African goal line, and perhaps we were counting our chickens.
I couldn't understand that free kick. Once again, it was a decision that I don't know what he gave it for. He said that the ball was put in skew. To me, it's strange. We were going forward on the drive, and he blew it up and gave the scrum, and then after that, the free kick followed.
Dit kan die laaste lynstaan van die wedstryd wees. Dit is die belangrikste lynstaan van die wedstryd tot dusver. Die Springbokke wat eenvoudig hierdie besit sal moet wen.
It's very important that the timing is right. Look, Kobus Wiese was interfered with there very badly. The referee has blown the penalty for South Africa. The rest of the players haven't heard it because the Neath Patriots and crowd was screaming and shouting and carrying on. This game is still on Andre van der Berg, and some of the Neath players haven't heard the whistle, but it's a penalty to South Africa. And that will be welcome relief. I mean, it was quite ridiculous the way Kobus Wiese was interfered with there.
Totally. They were stepping over the line before the ball came in, and Kobus didn't have no chance to get in to take the ball on the lob ball.
Nicely judged kick by Joel Stransky, but one must give full marks to Neath. Their forwards, and their pack of forwards particularly, have been full of fire. And I'm sure that they're going to give a lot of club sides endless trouble during the rest of the season. Nicely taken by Teichmann. He's held up by Kembury. Now taken on by Strauss. Help from Ian Hutton. Putt. That's what South Africa will need, but it needs to fall inside the field of play.
Einde van die
Referee
wedstrijd.
says that's the end of the game, and John van Rensburg, huge sigh of relief. Well, there South Africa pulled the win off, 16 points to 13. I think a win which they could be happy with rather than well satisfied with. It's 2 points, or sort of points in the bag. It's their fourth unbeaten game on this tour. The tour continues. We will be at Swansea on Saturday. It's been fabulous to have Francois Pienaar with us here tonight. From me, Hugh Bladen, and from John van Rensburg, we go back in a hurry to Randburg.